Now, one thing is for certain about Meghan Markle is that she is truly insufferable in nature. We all know that she's very narcissistic, greedy, self-absorbed, and even a liar at that. Whenever it comes down to her way of trying desperately to really remain in the spotlight, to remain in the limelight, or whatever have you, we know that there's a lot of things going on right now, not just between herself and Netflix, but between herself and the entirety of the film industry. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle right now is that we know that Netflix caught her in multiple acts of plagiarism and copying others' work out there, like Pamela Anderson and other, popular TV programs when it involved cooking shows, such as Rachel Ray. A lot of recipes and scenes and lines of dialogue were shoehorned into the actual season 2 of With Love, Meghan by Meghan Markle when she held creative power, and just recently Netflix caught on to this, hence why there's a lot of reshoots on top of the already planned reshoots happening as we speak. Now, what's interesting about all of this is that we know that Meghan Markle is coming out yet again with another confession and really admitting the truth about something very specific that I think is a very big, desperate move to relate to others, and the fact that she is basically running out of ideas now because, well, she's no longer allowed to get away with the fact that she's copying other people's work and really doing a copy and paste scenario to With Love, Meghan Season 2. Let's get into this. Now, interestingly enough, we know that Meghan Markle will say whatever she has to say to actually get her point across and to attempt to convince others to actually follow her path. Now, with the Meghan Markle drama and backlash only getting worse over time after posting her pregnancy video, one major development going on now involves more to do with a confession coming from Meghan Markle that is already beginning to backfire for Netflix CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos. This all comes well after her posting her viral video on Instagram. Now, Meghan recently delivered the following in a desperate move to appear more relatable to the public. I think one thing that I have kept bottled up in my life for so very long that I feel I need to share with the world right now is that when I make my presence known on social media in whatever way I can, I do it to inspire myself to be creative. Lately, I feel that I have lost my creative flow, and that there comes a time when you deal with the writer's block, whether it's for your general ideas, for a podcast subject, or for a series or a program or whatever. I have been dealing with creative flow issues due to unneeded and undeserved criticism that can really interrupt your way of thinking, and so I think when people finally see the real Meghan Markle, the real side of me on social media, it really does inspire me to be my true self again, to relate to other people. When you want to tackle your own creative issues such as writer's block, it's important to teach others lessons, those that don't have the education that they should have, and when you teach others, it inspires you to keep moving forward and to get past those blocks, as if you have a purpose in your life. For With Love, Meghan, I will admit and tease what we have in store for this fall is that we will be handing out valuable lessons on creative blocks and issues, and how to tackle those challenges while cooking, of course. And it's going to be a great way for me to relate to see many people, and I hope it works the other way around, to where those that were once critics of mine begin to understand and relate to me as a woman and as a person. Between my brand as ever and what we are doing for With Love, Meghan and my upcoming social media campaign, it's all for the greater good. It's all to inspire myself and to tackle the creative blocks that I have been dealing with for a while now. Because look, how hard work is good work, hard work is amazing work, and how many times you hit a brick wall, or however many times you do that, you have to get past it and get past those brick walls. It's in my best interest to help the American people, and even those over in the UK and around the world, to get through what I'm going through. Now guys, let me just stop there. The fact that she is admitting that she has a lot of these creative blocks, these examples of writer's block, etc., etc., I don't really think that she's dealing with such. I think at the end of the day, what she's really dealing with right now is that, well, she was always creatively bankrupt because she always stole from others' work. She always copied other people's work. And now when all of that is pretty much, no longer allowed, and it was caught in the act by multiple studios like Netflix and Paramount, well, now she basically has zero ideas on hand, and that's why she has to start from square one, doing her own ideas, making things of her own. And it's really challenging to her because she's been trained so long, by herself by the way, to take other people's work and apply it to her own programs, her own shows, podcasts, whatever it may be. We already know that she's trying to create a book deal as we speak. That's going to most likely not work out. We'll have to wait and see. Interestingly enough, she's also admitting that this is basically her way of really kind of trying to relate to others out there when she goes on social media. So what she's seemingly admitting here is that the whole pregnancy video, that was a way to inspire herself and to inspire herself to get past those creative roadblocks. It's utterly ridiculous, and you can really never take a word out of Meghan Markle's mouth as truth at this point anymore, but that's apparently her side of the story. Now, she goes on to actually move forward, because it can really be a struggle, she says, when you're trying to achieve your goals and when you are trying to do the impossible. I can only hope that many will relate to my challenges in life and how they can apply it to their own way of healing and their own way of reaching enlightenment, because it's a very important thing to achieve in order to be creative and to be original, where you can create demand for your own brands, products, or programs. Again, I mean, there she goes about being so creative and really creating your own work. Now, and just now, she's actually confessing about this, that she has to get past those roadblocks, that she has these creative blocks to begin with. And look, we all know that this actually just started because Netflix caught on to her. They caught her in the act of really taking people's other people's work out there, like Rachel Ray, Pamela Anderson, you know, even from other popular TV shows like Hell's Kitchen. Elements of those shows were literally copy and pasted into With Love Meghan Season 2, which is exactly why reshoots are going to be extended well into the middle of July, well ahead of its fall release date. And I would be shocked, honestly, if this is going to make anything better. If anything, it's only going to make matters worse, because now they're doing a lot of improvised material without a script to kind of get through this faster and to really get this done as fast as possible. But to actually conclude here, she goes on to close, and that's what I'm aiming to tackle as I speak. I can only hope others do the same and relate to me and how they will connect when they see Season 2. So not only did she admit that she has a lot of creative roadblocks, so to speak, and her creative flow is just lacking right now, and it's really creating a challenge in her life due to the online criticism, due to the actual criticism also in the mainstream media. Well, you know, that's what happens when you're so trained to just keep stealing other people's work and you don't really do anything yourself. And again, I think that once this actual next season drops, part 2 of Season 1 in the fall, it's going to be worse. It's going to be a worse ratings disaster than Season 1 ever was back in March of this year. You watch, because it's really going to be a very garbled mess, because they're doing reshoots, everything's going to be out of touch, unorganized, and seems very phony because there's no script in many areas. You're going to have worse acting than ever before, and I think it's going to be quite funny to actually witness. But overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about Meghan Markle's creative roadblocks and her social media campaign, which she wants to actually begin in a short number of weeks from now. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel and everything else about Meghan Markle and the overall situation in Hollywood, and I'll catch you guys later.